When people think about watching movies or TV shows online, the first thing that comes to mind is usually a paid subscription. Netflix, Prime Video, Disney Plus. Over time, we've been trained to believe that if you're not paying, then you're either missing out or doing something illegal. But that belief is completely wrong, and today's video exists to quietly break that illusion. There is an entire side of the internet built around legal, free streaming, not loud, not aggressively marketed, and definitely not pushed by algorithms. These platforms exist for very different reasons than profit, and once you understand why they exist, you'll never look at streaming the same way again. Let's start with Retro Crush, because Retro Crush represents something we've slowly lost in modern entertainment: memory. Retro Crush isn't just a streaming site, it's a preservation project disguised as entertainment. In the current era, anime is fast, seasonal, algorithm-driven, and disposable. New shows come out every 3 months, get hyped, and are forgotten just as quickly. Retro Crush goes in the opposite direction. It brings back anime from decades ago, shows that were made before binge culture existed, before studios optimized content for engagement metrics. When you watch something on Retro Crush, you immediately feel the difference. The pacing is slower, the stories breathe, characters are allowed to exist without constant action. These shows were made in a time when animators had fewer tools but more intention. Every frame mattered because producing it was expensive and time-consuming. That's why Retro Crush feels so different emotionally. You're not just watching anime, you're watching the foundation of anime culture itself. The platform doesn't overwhelm you with choices. Instead, it feels curated, like someone saying, here's what mattered before everything became noise. Pluto TV, on the other hand, exists for a completely different reason. Pluto TV isn't trying to make you think deeply. It's trying to give you something modern streaming platforms accidentally destroyed: effortless watching. Today, we spend more time choosing what to watch than actually watching. Decision fatigue has become a real problem. Pluto TV solves this by bringing back the idea of live television, where content flows whether you're ready or not. You don't choose the movie chooses you. There's something strangely comforting about that. You turn on Pluto TV and a channel is already playing. A movie is halfway through and you join it mid-story, like people used to do for decades. That experience removes pressure. You're not committing to a perfect choice. You're just present. Pluto TV feels like background companionship. It's ideal for nights when you don't want to think, you don't want to scroll endlessly, and you don't want to feel guilty for not finishing something. It reminds you that entertainment doesn't always have to be optimized. Sometimes it just has to exist. Plex TV takes things one step further by quietly blurring the line between ownership and access. Most people know Plex as a personal media server, but Plex TV turns that concept into something more philosophical. It combines what you own with what you're allowed to access for free. In one interface, you see your personal collection alongside legally licensed movies and TV shows from studios around the world. This creates an illusion of abundance without chaos. Plex doesn't scream for attention. It feels calm, controlled, and personal. Over time, Plex learns what you enjoy and starts recommending content that feels surprisingly thoughtful for a free service. What makes Plex special isn't just the content, it's the feeling of control. In a digital world where you're constantly renting access, Plex gives you a sense of permanence. Even when you're watching free content, it feels like it belongs to your space, not a corporation's. And then there's Kanopy, the quiet giant that most people don't even realize they already have access to. Kanopy exists outside the commercial streaming ecosystem entirely. It doesn't compete for attention. It doesn't push trending content. It doesn't chase engagement metrics. Instead, it partners with libraries and universities because its purpose isn't profit, it's cultural access. When you watch something on Kanopy, you notice the difference immediately. The films feel intentional, thoughtful, curated by humans, not algorithms. These are movies meant to challenge you, teach you, or stay with you long after the credits roll. Kanopy trusts its audience. It doesn't assume you need constant stimulation, it assumes you're capable of curiosity. That's why it feels so different from every other platform on this list. Watching Kanopy isn't passive entertainment, it's participation in culture. When you open Reelgood, you're not opening a streaming service. You're opening a discovery engine that scans across the entire streaming ecosystem. It pulls in data from platforms like Pluto TV, Plex, free ad-supported services, and even paid platforms, then shows you exactly where a movie or show is available, including free and legal options. This is where Reelgood becomes powerful. Instead of jumping between apps, guessing where something might be streaming, or accidentally paying for a rental you didn't need, Reelgood tells you the truth up front. It shows whether something is free, ad-supported, included with a service you already have, or locked behind a subscription. That transparency alone makes it feel like a consumer-first tool in an industry that usually benefits from confusion. But Reelgood goes deeper than search. It learns what you like. Over time, it understands your taste and starts recommending content across platforms, not just within one service. That means you're no longer trapped inside a single algorithm bubble. You're discovering movies and shows based on your interests, not a platform's business goals. There's also something quietly liberating about using Reelgood. It breaks the psychological grip of subscriptions. Instead of thinking, "What should I watch on Netflix tonight?" you start thinking, "What's worth watching?" Period. The platform fades into the background and the content finally becomes the focus again. For free streaming specifically, Reelgood is a cheat code. Many people don't realize how much high-quality content exists on free, legal platforms because those platforms don't market well. Reelgood surfaces that content effortlessly. It connects services like Pluto TV, Plex, and other ad-supported platforms into one searchable experience, making free streaming feel intentional instead of accidental. That's why Reelgood fits perfectly in this list. Every other website in this video gives you content. Reelgood gives you clarity. It doesn't replace streaming platforms, it organizes them. And in a world overloaded with choices, that might be the most valuable service of all. When you step back and look at all 5 of these platforms together, a pattern emerges. None of them exist to replace Netflix. They exist to serve parts of entertainment Netflix doesn't care about anymore. Memory, history, slowness, effortless viewing, ownership, education. These websites survive quietly because they're not chasing virality, and that's exactly why they're worth your time. If this video changed the way you think about free streaming, take a second to like it. If you discovered at least one platform you'd never heard of, let me know in the comments. And if you want more hidden corners of the internet that actually matter, subscribe to Voss Tech. Because sometimes the best things online aren't trending, they're waiting.